Friends, Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks Workshop. You can just ignore Caleb filing in the background. We're behind on producing these Shop Talk videos. Therefore, I'm going to put this Shop Talk video as the front end to a huge Shop Talk video that may actually get broken up into two videos. But at least you'll kind of know what's going on. And this will be in the front end, so therefore the other intro you'll see was filmed quite a while ago. As a matter of fact, this Shop Talk has been filmed over several weeks. Most of the Shop Talks are filmed really in one setting, not this one. Just so you know, just to give you an idea. But I've got quite a few things to update here. I'm going to try to get to that as quick as possible. First thing is, you can see my arms resting on stuff. I'm going to fold the camera down here and show you what $2,000 worth of instrument wood looks like. Maybe you can see it, and you can see some of it anyway. Actually, there's not that much wood here, considering. Here's some wood for the top of a mandolin. Here's some more top. Here's some more top. And yet some more top, and some more. So there's 5 mandolin tops. That's what we have right there, 5 mandolin tops. And those average about $50 to $60 a top, if not more. Here's the sides for some mandolins here. Here's the necks for some mandolins. And here's the back for 3 mandolins. And these are in the $200 range. One of them I got a little bit cheaper because it had quite a few defects on it, but not because the quality of the wood's any worse. I mean, the defects will be cut out of it anyway. He just would have more trouble selling that through the mail, so therefore he gave me a little deal on it. But this is probably the best piece of wood that I got, but I got it a little cheaper, $150. But these were $200 a set. So there you go. It don't take long to add up on your prices. Now that's the mandolin wood, and then these are just brace wood for guitar and mandolin. That's all this is, and there's actually quite a few dollars stuck in just that much. And then lastly, we have the cream of the crop here, which I haven't even opened yet. He boxed it up because this stuff is fairly fragile. It's all guitar tops. This ran into a few dollars here. Every 2 pieces is $200. Yeah, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Better way to say it is every piece is $100. There's 100, there's 200, there's 300, 400 right there. There's 500, 600 right there. 700, 800 right there. 900, 1,000 right there. This one I think I got for 180, and maybe that one too. So those two were just a little bit cheaper, but anyway, you can get my point. Just that little bit of wood right there, you could build a pretty nice building for the price of that little bit of wood right there. I'll give you some idea as to why the cost of a quality instrument has gone up. You know, and if you make a mistake, you just made a $200 mistake. That's the key to this. Well, that's all the wood, so let's move on to the next subject. Next, I want to acknowledge a few viewer gifts that we just received. Matter of fact, this one just came today. Today is August 20th, if you're keeping score. Though when you see the rest of this Shop Talk, it was filmed quite a while ago. We just got this in the mail, and you say, what is this? Well, to be perfectly honest, I'm not 100% sure myself. It appears to be milliput. I haven't looked it up yet, but it appears to be a type of epoxy. If I was guessing, it says it will set underwater. It's heat resisting. I don't know any more than that at the moment. It just came out of the mailbox, and it appears to have come from Players Cove in Copperas Cove, Texas. Copperas Cove, Texas. So Players Cove, whoever that is, thank you very much. You know, I never know exactly what the intent of things like this is when I get them if we haven't talked about it, and I don't recall talking to anybody about this, but I'm assuming it must be for filling things. Maybe it's for sticking things together. Like I said, I haven't looked it up yet, but I sure do appreciate the sentiment and the thank you for sending me these kinds of things. I appreciate it very much. We'll try to put it to good use. Next, we've got some more goodies. I've got a note here from Mr. Chip Wood, who watches a lot of the videos, and he's stopped in here a couple of times over the years. I believe he lives out in Oklahoma. Chip just sent me a great big box full of deer antler, and oh my gosh, is that appreciated. We were totally out, and I am not just saying that. And when I say totally out, we have tips and miscellaneous pieces here. Most of that's good enough to make nuts and guitar saddles, but most of that is not good enough to make the mandolin saddles. That's where most of our sales is in the mandolin saddles. And those only really come out of the base of the antler. So Chip sent us a whole big box full. That is really going to help, Chip. I really do appreciate it. He also sent in a few, miscellaneous instrument parts, and, like there were some string pegs and some tuning keys and things like that, and so we're going to use that as well, Chip. So thank you very, very much. We really do appreciate it. Chip also was very kind in his note. He visited with Melissa and Caleb when he was here, and he acknowledged that and had a good time. He also said he regrets not making a testimonial about the outstanding mandolin course. He says that he is so valued as a working tool in learning to play his mandolin. He purchased my mandolin course. You can see that out on my website on the for sale page. And you can purchase it as a download form, which is what I really encourage. I have it for both the mandolin and for the guitar. And the thing on the mandolin is it's really from beginning to end. For the guitar, it's really, if you already know your guitar chords, then it will help you. Both of those trainings are wrapped around the Nashville number system. On the guitar, basically, that's all you're learning is the Nashville number system. On the mandolin, you're learning everything. You're learning from how to hold the pick through how to play it and to understand the Nashville number system all at the same time. So the mandolin's very comprehensive. But thank you, Chip. We really, really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Well, the next thing I want to share with you is this. Look at these things here. And you can maybe tell what they are. I'm sure some of you can tell right away. They are spindle sanders, and they're the kind of spindle sander that you can hold in your hand, turn them with a drill. It's like you could have a drill over here powering this, and then you could work up and down a neck or something like that to shape the neck of a guitar or whatever. They're handheld and homemade, and these were made by Alan Dust. So Alan, thank you very kindly. He said he got this idea for a spindle sander for a cordless drill on YouTube. He saw a guy make some of these, but the other guys weren't quite as safe in that this nut that's in here was exposed. He's covered that up so that this thing spins, and your hand is pretty safe, and this will keep your hand from sliding off. You can grab that knob right there, and then this part here is turned by a drill. So it's really a fairly safe tool the way he's designed this. So Alan, you did a good job. Thank you very much. Hopefully you'll see this in a video down the road. And the next care package of goodies is from Mitch Matthews up in Dearborn, Michigan, I think it is. M.I. That's Michigan, isn't it? Okay, Mitch sent me a bunch of stuff here. Let me just turn the camera down. It's easier than trying to hold up everything. He sent me all of these goodies here. Here's a bunch of strings. These are bronze wound acoustic guitar strings. These are lights. These are electric strings, and these are from 9 to 42, which, I would say is light also. I can't really tell. Yeah, light, I would say those are light gauge. Super light, it says, as a matter of fact, now that I see it on here. These were Musician's Choice strings for electrics. The packaging puts me to mind of Ernie Ball. If I was guessing, I'd say Ernie Ball had something to do with making those, but I don't know that. It's just a total guess. He also included in his care package some of this aluminum tape, which can be used on, I know, electric guitars and different things. I can think of other uses for that as well here in the shop. And he also sent along a multimeter for electric guitars on, continuity, and, you can check voltage. You can check all kinds of things with these babies. I've got a couple of meters myself, as a matter of fact, but this is kind of nice. It's a nice, small, compact one. Here's a set of tenor banjo strings, which is kind of nice to have in the shop here. These are Vega strings. You don't see Vega around much anymore, but they are, owned and operated by Martin for years. As a matter of fact, there's a Martin emblem on there. And he has a homemade mandolin strap, which is really cool. It's very, very nicely made. I haven't untied it here yet. I probably should have done that off camera. Looks like it's all tied up in a knot here to keep it all together. But you can kind of see, I think, how it unwinds there. This one here, I would think, goes over the F scroll up there on the mandolin, on the F-style mandolin. This obviously is the strap itself, and then this can be adjusted for the tail pin. So, wow, that's really cool. So Mitch, old buddy, thank you very kindly for that. I really do appreciate the care package. We'll try to put all of that stuff to very good use. Thank you. My friends, now you're going to move into the other part of the older videos that were shot a while back. And these are all interesting shop talk videos. I think you should watch them if you can. It may be long, I don't know. Melissa will cut out all the fluff. But before I let you go and let you get to that, I just wanted to point this out. Let me just point out on this guitar top that I've always had an understanding, opinion, belief that the finer grain was stronger, also really had a very, very superior sound. And I would say in most species of spruce that would be true, but the guys I bought this from today are trying to convince me that the wider grain in Adirondack spruce, red spruce specifically, is actually stronger than the fine grain. Now, I, was very skeptical of that, but then he took me down and he showed me this specific piece, and it's really stiff, and it's the same thickness as the other stuff. It's very stiff, I have to admit, and it's a wider grain, as you can probably see, but that's not the reason I went ahead and bought it. The reason I went ahead and bought it is the old tap test. When I tapped on this, I'm going to do it right now, I can hear it that long. Oh my gosh. That kind of changes everything in my book. It is crazy long on the sustain. Right there. And it probably could hear it better than that. Right there. It depends how you hold it and how you tap it, where you tap it and all that. But I am seriously telling you, this has got the most sustain of any piece of wood I've ever picked up in my life. And that's saying a lot because I've picked up a lot of wood and I tap on almost all of it. So I am familiar with it. And this seriously is the most resonant piece of top board I've ever bought. The reason I show you that is I'm going to hold this one back and save it for something special. If you're that special person that really needs that special board, we can talk and maybe make a deal. But I'm not going to give this one away. I can tell you for sure, because you don't find them like this very often that have this kind of sound. Oh my gosh. Now on to the rest of the videos. Hello my friends, Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works Workshop with another edition of Shop Talk. I believe this is the 11th edition, and many folks have quickly told me that they thoroughly enjoy the shop talk because of all the tips and tricks that I share. I'm going to share a quick tip right now. This has nothing to do with the actual building of instruments, more to do with finding my videos on the subject. Some folks have actually criticized me for using the RSW in the title of all my videos. I will tell you that I do that for a specific reason, and that is that links all my videos together. So every single video has RSW in the title, and you can use that to search for videos. For instance, if you just go to YouTube search and you type in RSW and you type in the subject like banjo, then you'll find all kinds of RSW videos on banjo. Or you type in RSW Shop Talk and you'll find all the Shop Talk videos. So anyway, the point is that RSW can be very helpful in your searches. So if you have something specific you're looking for, and like for instance, people will say, what glue are you using? You could type in RSW glue and you'll be surprised. You'll probably find something. One of the videos that I'd like to encourage you to go back and look at would be RSW genetic defect. Because I did put out a video, and for those of you who are new to the channel, you might get a kick out of going through the genetic defect video. I just found out yesterday at the doctor that I have yet another genetic defect. I had no clue. He said less than 5% of the population have this, and that is, I don't have a tendon in this wrist that everyone else has. When you turn your wrist like this, there's a tendon that pops up real predominantly, and mine doesn't do that. So he showed me his, and it's completely different than my wrists. So he said, well, you're pretty unique there. He says, that's kind of uncommon. I said, doctor, you don't know the half of it. You should watch my genetic defect video. So if you get a chance, look that up. I think you'll like it. What I'm going to do right here at the beginning of the video is acknowledge a bunch of viewer gifts, things that they sent in, and these really are parts in this case, because you know in a recent video I did ask for you to send me spare parts. Well, we got a bunch more in. In fact, I've ordered a parts cabinet from McMaster Car where I can store all these parts because we are getting overrun with them, which is wonderful. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining, because you never have too many spare parts when it comes to working on these old instruments. So we're going to start here in no particular order. Here's a box of spare parts. This one came from Brian Kentz, I believe, or Kentz, maybe even. Pass Christian, Mississippi, it says. Pass Christian, Mississippi. And he's got a very nice note in here and some business cards, and his business cards say, I repair guitars. So that's Brian Kentz in Mississippi there, if you're looking for a luthier in your area. Wow, he sent me all kinds of tuning keys. I mean, a bag full. Another bag full of, like these would be like classical guitar tuning key parts. Here's another bag of friction tuning key parts. Here's a couple of metal bridges that I have seen. This style, I've seen them in the Gibsons in the metal as an adjustable bridge, and those wooden bridges. I've seen this part, that area. It could be off an electric guitar too. However, this one actually is off of a, I believe it's off something, I don't know, it could be fooling me, but there's three marks at each location. And the only instrument I can recall offhand that had 3 marks like that was a tipple. And I don't know if that's what that's off of or not. Offhand, I know I've seen it, but I can't recall anything else that has the 3 strings in one location. And then here's a hollow metal saddle also. So anyway, then an individual tuning key, a bunch more parts, and mostly these are gears and worm gears. And some more parts. I mean, he loaded me up. This is a bunch of stuff. Another set of keys. A bunch more parts of individual keys. Some more, these are more the 6-in-line. I can't think of what you call that right now either, but it's the base of the 6-in-line tuning keys, and some of the other parts that hold the worm gear and the other gears. And then a bunch more worm gears with heads on them, with the the turning button head on there. And then a bunch of posts. My gosh, he sent a bunch of stuff. So Brian, you must be one busy luthier. Thank you very kindly, Brian. I really do appreciate it. We're all in this together, Brian, and if I can help you in any way, you let me know. I appreciate this. My gosh. It's going to take a cabinet just for what he sent, let alone all the other stuff. Thank you, Brian. Okay, the next box of goodies is from Chuck Berquist, and Chuck is in Galena, Illinois, and he must have been quite a luthier in his day, and he is still at it to some degree, but he is 80 years old now, and he is, I guess, thinning out the herd, so to speak. He sent me a large box of parts, and I'm going to go through those with you as well. He's very, very complimentary in his letter that he sent to me. Very nice fella. He says he wished he had seen my videos many years ago because he learned many of the things I do over time and the hard way. Don't we all, I would say to you, Chuck. No one is born with this information ingrained in them. You know, you just figure it out over time, and that's what I do. You've seen me on camera change my procedures as I go along. I'm working on a violin called Chocolate right now, and as a matter of fact, I had one of those moments in my head last night, and I've got a new approach I'm going to take on Old Chocolate this morning, which I don't think I've shown on video, although I kind of think I did a little bit in the neck area of a video on a violin, how I repaired the neck heel, and I'm going to repair the butt end of this violin in the same manner, but I haven't done it in that area, at least in a video, I'm sure. So anyway, my point is, Chuck, we all learn as we go, and we figure it out as we go. Even things that I've done before, sometimes I forget, and then I have to think to do them again, you know. But very nice letter, Chuck. Thank you very much. He sent me some information on the birth of making a concert guitar, which is in this case, a classical style concert guitar. And I have not looked through that entirely yet. There's not too many pages on that, actually. There's only a couple of pages of it. I think the book apparently got damaged or something is what it amounts to. But anyway, I thank you very much, Chuck. I appreciate it. So let's go see what Chuck sent us here. One thing already is kind of handy is a violin shoulder rest. It's not brand new because I can see some age to it, but on the other hand, it's in very good condition. Some youngster that needs one, well, I may just give it to him. You just never know. And he sent me a lot of other parts. This is a fifth string tuner for a banjo. I actually have a couple of these in stock. You never know when you're going to need another one. So there you go. Here's some mandolin tuning key parts, mostly just parts, but that's good. This is, looks like some more guitar tuning key parts. A couple of end pegs for violins. These look to be new, don't look to be used, and that's good because I was getting low on those. I was just getting ready to order some new ones, so now I don't have to. And here's a couple of wood violin tail pieces. Might come in handy. Here's some ferrules for a guitar. Oh, some gold banjo hooks. So we've got some gold ones there, which are kind of nice to have. Oh, here's some case parts. Not many of you know that I used to build cases. In fact, some of the top bluegrass bands playing bluegrass, just a few, have some of my cases that I used to build. I quit doing it because it was so expensive to build them. I don't know, it just didn't seem to be my market. Anyway, I'm not oh, here's this, similar to it's not a Bixby, but it might be, but it's two tail pieces, similar to a Bixby tailpiece. It's got tremolo bar or whatever you want to call that. The whammy bar, I think, is what people call it these days. But anyway, it's got the bar to hit there. I'm not into the electrics, as you know, so I don't know all of your terminology. Sorry. But anyway, it's got one of them things. And this one, and there's the handle, I guess, for that one. Or maybe it's the handle for this one, because here's another one in here, too. This one's made about the same, slight difference. You never know. Might need that someday, too. I did, just before I got into YouTube, I thought, just a bit of trivia, I did completely restore an old Gibson electric hollow body, really nice guitar. I mean, this was one of their upper echelon. I don't remember the exact model. I think it was something like a 335 or something like that, but it's been a long time ago. Anyway, it was a really nice one, all gold plated, gold trim, everything. And so I even sent all the parts out, had them re-gold plated. Man, you talking about a nice restoration. I wish I had been on YouTube at that time. And know you would have loved to see that one because it turned out wonderful. The guy still plays it every day now. Here's some violin parts, and here's some more. It looks like just miscellaneous tuning key parts. I'm not sure how to open the box. You got to be smarter than the box to figure that out. But some more individual tuning key parts. So that's wonderful. So Chuck, God bless you. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. I like your nice note here. Thank you very much, Chuck. If I can do anything for you, you just let me know. And the third box of parts, if you will, that came in is from DJ in Blue Ridge, Texas. DJ's box of parts is just slightly different. It looks like this. He sent the whole banjo for parts. And that's really cool. But the really cool factor is this banjo. I really like the banjo itself. Very few of these small banjos come in that I would give you 50 cents for. This one's a little different. This is a pretty decent little banjo. It needs quite a bit of work, to be perfectly honest with you, but it's a pretty neatly made banjo. There's the peg head, and I'll let y'all just look at the peg head for a second there and see if you can guess who made this banjo just from the peg head. Probably not, but if you can, that's kind of cool. That means you really know your stuff. Look at how ornate the inlay is all the way up and down, and that's real mother of pearl or abalone, which I'd say it's, can't really see it very well in here. I need to get things out in the daylight, out in the sunlight for me to tell the colors and stuff. I can't tell for sure if it's mother of pearl or abalone. Some abalone is, you know, fairly white and fairly colorless, but it looks to me like it's mother of pearl. It's got a very ornate neck back here too. You can see it. They used my technique, if you will, and I say it's mine because this is much older than when I started, but obviously I'm using their technique of laminating the necks. It's both decorative and it makes them very strong. So this neck, when you look down it, it just is straight as a string, and I'm not kidding. It's absolutely as straight as a string. And I say that's due to those laminations. You can say what you want to say, but that's my story and I'm sticking to it. It's got a lot of hooks around it, tensioners, if you will. That's the sign of more quality also. When you see very few of these, it's a lot less quality instrument. That's just a black and white given. And it's only missing one of them, it looks like, and the rest of them look to be original. And then when you go on the inside back here, and this is where you get to give away the name and everything, and I'll show you a close-up there and hopefully hold it still where it can be seen. And if you can't read it on screen, it says George Washburn, and it says improved above that. It's got a picture of a banjo between George and Washburn. And the serial number that I can see here is 8759. There is another number down on the rim, which looks to say 8764, possibly a 3 or an 80. Patented, it says. Let me put on my close-up specs there and look at that number again. It's a little more blurry, a little harder to read. And I'll pull the light down here where I can inspect it a little closer. Yeah, 8764. I still can't make out that one number. Whether it's a 3 or an 8, it's very difficult to tell. And a 0. It even could be a 6, now that I look at it. So I can't tell that one number, that second to the last number. But anyway, that's the patented number, it looks like. So maybe you could look up the patent on that if you are so inclined. And if you do that, put a link in the comments there. I'm sure people would like to look it up and take a look at this closer. But this is pretty cool. A pretty cool banjo. I don't know that I have the heart to use this as parts. That's the truth of it. So DJ in Blue Ridge, Texas, I thank you very, very much. I am not sure what I'm going to do with this yet. I have a feeling I'm just going to set this up on the shelf, and someday, maybe, I might just get the wild hair to restore this thing and maybe auction it off and then use the proceeds to buy parts. Something like that. When I showed this to Melissa, she just went into full orbit and she says, I want that banjo, I want that banjo. And I said, oh, Melissa, I've already thought that I would probably auction it off. And, and then she's going, okay, I'm good with that, more or less, because she'll bid on it. So anyway, I don't know. You're torn when you have someone that really wants something like this. it was given to me, maybe I should just give it to her. But on the other hand, it's so cool. I mean, I think it's so cool. It's going to take quite a bit of work to fix it. It's kind of got a break in this area of the rim here, and it does move some. Not too bad though. I think it's easily fixable. It's broken the rim up here a little bit. It's not too bad a shape though. I think we can fix it up and make a player out of it. I would probably put a new calfskin head on it if I was going to restore it. But as I said, for now, it's probably just going to go on a shelf because we're already so crazy busy here in the shop, and I just don't have time to take on an extra project. Thank you again, DJ. We really do appreciate it. Very much appreciate the thought of sending this to me. So thank you very kindly. Okay, moving on from the spare parts. Another thing in Shop Talk that I've got here for you today is a giveaway, believe it or not. So those of you who watch Shop Talk, you get to take advantage of this. Those of you who don't watch Shop Talk, too bad, so sad. You're not going to be in on the giveaway. Okay, it's not much of a giveaway, but it's a giveaway, just none the same. They're covered in dust, so I didn't even bother to sweep them off, sorry. But these are two old violin cases. This one here is actually a pretty good violin case. It works, the latch works, the inside is in very good shape, which is the main reason I didn't throw it away. It's not the old style that's really bad for your violin. This one's actually halfway decent. It needs a new handle. You can buy replacement handles that really hook right onto here with leather or whatever, so you could easily fix this up. The hardware could be buffed out, I'm sure. You could dye these white spots black with some just black shoe polish, or you could do it with, a magic marker. So you can make the case look halfway decent. It's a decent old case. The first one who sends me an email that says, I want the old case, you will be the one that wins this. This is the old case. Then we have yet a new case. And the new case, it's a cheapie, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to lie to you, it's a cheapie case. But on the other hand, it's a decent case. It's made really nicely. It's got a place to hold 4 bows. It's got the hygrometer. Everything about the case is fine, except I believe it's the zipper, I think, doesn't work. I can't remember. Maybe it's the latch. Maybe it's the lock. I can't remember what's wrong on this case. But something's wrong with this case. I can't remember. I had somebody return it, and I had to give them a new case. I can't remember what it was now, but honestly, I don't see any, at the moment, I don't see anything wrong with it. It's sitting here for a year or two, and I've forgotten what the issue was. I don't see an issue. Well, anyway, this is the new case, and I'll give it away. There you go. How's that? So if you want the new case, let me know that too. Though, just be warned, it may have a problem that I can't find right now. So there you go. Send an email though. Don't make the comment in the comments. There's just too many comments. The emails are dated and timed, and the first email that says I want the new case will get the new case. My email address is rosastringworks@gmail.com. I'm sure Melissa will put that on the screen as well. So there you go. Now, by the way, I'm only going to ship it free to the contiguous 48 states. I'm sorry, Hawaii and Alaska, but it costs too much to ship it there. You will have to pay for shipping if you want it outside of the 48 contiguous states. Even the shipping within the 48 states is going to cost me quite a few dollars, probably as much as the case is worth, to be perfectly honest with you. But that's okay. You guys deserve something every once in a while, and I'll ship it to you free. My friends, to follow up with all those parts that have been shipped in to us, I just thought I'd show you how much I appreciate it by showing you the cabinet that I purchased. Doesn't look like much, but these cabinets are expensive, believe it or not. It was $150 for this metal cabinet. Now, it's all metal. I could find a lot of plastic ones much cheaper, and just couldn't find anything with any depth. Everything was only like 6 inches deep, and this one's a foot deep. So it's got a lot of drawer space. And I have it marked with all of the parts that were sent in. In fact, I spent from about 1:30 yesterday afternoon to about 8:30 last night with a short break for supper, just organizing all the parts. I seriously took every part that was sent in, put my hand on every piece, and put it where it belonged. And so to me, that's very satisfying. You know, the buzzwords in YouTube these days are strangely satisfying, or something like to that effect, or weirdly satisfying. But to me, it's got neither of those adjectives. It's just very satisfying to me to finally have my parts separated where I can find them. Used to have them in 3 or 4 drawers and all jammed together, and maybe a couple of tin cans were full of parts. Now it's all organized. So I'm really happy with that. Just to give you an idea, like this is individual matched guitar tuners. So in other words, they're single keys, individual keys, but they're matched sets. They're all organized. And then just as an example different than that, here's a bunch of individual keys that aren't matched. They don't have enough of any one of them to make a set. And then in the back of there, I have inline matched sets. And so it's just really nice being able to find everything. And that's just one little part. There's, you know, bridge pins and end pins and strap buttons, you know, just all kinds of things here. Here's mandolin bridges, you know, nuts, string posts and gears. And this is a good one because you can see all the gears that are in here, and then all the string posts. And here's all the different ferrules. There are just tons of ferrules in here. So my point is, I've got it very organized now. I wanted you to know that I did really appreciate you sending them to me. It wasn't like just a bunch of stuff going to get thrown in a big drawer. It's categorized and we can find what we need now. And I am very pumped about that. Thank you very much. Well, my friends, for you, it's just been mere seconds. For me, it's like another day. This is one of the most put together shop talks ever because generally I just put them together all at one time. But this one is broken up over several days, thus all the wardrobe changes. No, I don't have someone setting off camera changing my shirts for me. Anyway, I wanted to address the subject of the humidity again that we talked about in the last shop talk. Most of the comments were supportive, favorable, however you want to look at it. There were a couple of, you know, comments. I wouldn't call them negative. I would call them disagreeing, or at least they thought they were disagreeing. Though from my perspective, I seriously think they supported my argument. Now, you know, maybe that's just the mark of someone who likes to argue. I don't know. Maybe that's what I'm waving it off as. Anyway, my point is, one of the comments came in something like, you know, I have to disagree with your comment on humidity because my guitar starts buzzing in the wintertime or the summertime. I don't remember which one they said, to be honest. It doesn't matter. If you listened carefully to what I said about humidity in the previous shop talk, what I said was, your instrument will change every year from winter to summer. It will change every time. Every instrument will change to some degree. The caveat would be if you live in a total jungle climate and it's always humid, you won't see much difference. If you live in a total arid climate where it's really dry all the time, you won't see much difference. But here in Missouri, it goes from really wet to really dry. And it will do that every year. And especially if you heat with certain very dry heats like wood heat, like I do. But still in all, I say I'm not going to humidify my instrument. What I should have said in the previous video to take my argument just a bit further is, your goal is to set up your instrument where it can handle that change. Now, when we're talking about the change, you know, we're talking about it like it's some big monster change. It's a significant change, there's no doubt, but it's not a huge, monstrous change. And sometimes just the littlest difference in your setup can make the difference of your instrument being playable all year long. In other words, maybe you need to raise your action just about 5/1000ths of an inch, and then it'll play perfectly fine, and somebody will say, 5/1000ths of an inch? You just don't know how little that is. I mean, we're talking exactly the thickness of a hair. Pull out a hair and it's just that much. Sometimes that's all it takes to make your instrument play all year long without humidifying it. So here's my final word on it on this shop talk. Not saying I'll never address it again. I'm just saying that here's my final word today. And I would really seriously like to hear your argument. If you have a good argument against this, put it in the comments. I don't think you can come up with one. I really don't. This is a challenge. Okay, as I mentioned, they dry your wood down roughly about 6% in a kiln before your instrument is built. I have said many times that you'll never get it to dry down below that. The moment you take it out of the kiln, the moment, really, seriously, is true, it will start to suck in moisture. And by the time they build your instrument, it's probably back up to 8% humidity, somewhere in that range. It might still be 6%, but it's probably closer to 8% by the time they actually build your instrument. So here's my question. And if you've got a good answer for this, I truly do want to hear it because it would be something I haven't thought of. And that is, why, this is not rhetorical, why would you want to humidify your instrument and swell it up bigger than the day it was built? I mean, it's 8% it was built, let's just assume that number. You pick any number you want to pick. Why do you want to swell it up bigger than the day it was built? What would be the point in that? I can't think of a good reason, period. You know, it was built at a certain percentage of moisture. I would just soon it stay around that percentage and not try to swell it up bigger than that. And that's what you're doing when you're humidifying your instrument. Not to mention you're rusting your strings and rusting all the other metal parts. By the way, some people commented, I've gone to the packs and put those in there, and that, has solved the problem. I say that just created your problem. Those humidity packs I have seen on numerous occasions where they have started leaking and they have physically ruined the instrument. I mean ruined as in ruined. If I didn't spell that right, Melissa, fix it. I should never do math on camera, and I should never spell on camera because neither one of those are my strong suits. But you see my point. The point is, be careful what you're doing with humidity. A little humidifying here and there ain't gonna hurt nothing. I know that, you know that. But a lot of humidity is not good. I say a lot of humidity is far worse than little or no humidity. That's my black and white bottom line, and I'm sticking to it. Going to go on to another subject now. All right, I couldn't go on to another subject because I just thought of something else I did want to say to you. From the music store perspective, I know they got to make money. And I know they have to, come up with all kinds of arguments why they need to sell humidifiers. And it's been that way since, Hector was a pup, back in the 60s or at least. And they've been really pushing humidifiers since that time. So it has become ingrained in people's heads, and it has become the truth, even though it's not the truth. I would really, really like to see the music stores pushing other products besides humidifiers. I'd like to see them pushing better strings. I'd like to see them pushing better tuners, better capos, better cases, all those kinds of things to make their money and put the humidifier on the back shelf. That's really where I think we need to be in the music stores. Don't get me wrong. I'm in full support of the music stores. I truly am. I am not wishing bad things for them at all. In fact, I'm, right there with them. I don't see how they stay in business with all this online sales. I feel sorry for them. So, don't think I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. I'm not picking on the music stores, but I'd like to see them pushing the other products and leaving the humidifiers on the back shelf. Now, let's go take a look at another storage solution that I have. I told you about the storage solution I came up with for all the parts you guys sent to me. Here's another storage solution that's been driving me crazy really since the day I started doing this.
I don't know that I've actually shown this specific view in the shop before, so I thought, well, it's just about time. I know you can see pieces of this in various different shots in various different videos. But that red cabinet right there is brand new, and I'll show you what it has in it. First, let me just say that everything in this red cabinet, and I think you'll be amazed how much is in there, was all in this drawer right here. And that's been that way for years and years. I have since cleaned out all of these drawers and have organized them, and that's much better, in addition to what I've organized and put in this cabinet right here. So what is in the cabinet? It's all of my bindings. Maybe if you can see, every drawer is labeled, and we'll just zoom in there where you can read it, some of it. Non-plastic purfling and rosettes is one of them, and that would be this drawer. So take a look at what's in here. As I said, all of this was in one drawer over here before, and that's just the purfling and rosettes. Here is the old school binding. This is the stuff that needs the hazmat fees, if you will. And mostly this is for the mandolins that I was building, the ivoroid binding. Someone gave me some of this old school, what I call mother of toilet seat. It's kind of like a perloid binding. This is the flat goods, the sheet stuff. And you can see that here is the PVC laminated bindings. These are the more modern bindings that are PVC based, I guess you'd say. I hardly use any of this anymore. And here is some more PVC solid bindings. These are just one solid color. Up here the difference is these are laminated with different colors. So anyway, so that's all of that was in this one drawer, and so you couldn't find anything. In addition, in one other drawer, I had plans, and they were all jammed together. So I had all these different plans, and I have a lot of hand-drawn type plans. And in addition, down here, I have yet some more specs and some more type plans. There'll probably be more things go in that drawer as time goes on. Since we're on the drawers and organization, let's just look at these drawers and you'll see what I've got here. This is mostly just supply type stuff. This is just old plastic that I can make more templates out of. These are bridge cauls that I can use whenever I'm putting a new bridge on an instrument. I can put those inside the instrument and clamp up. Some of that metal stuff in the back. Those valve stems are crazy hard. I use them as burnishing tools sometimes. It's mostly just storage, really. I don't use much of that now. In this drawer, I just have a few drill guides for drilling holes. And these are the ones I use for my instruments. So that's what I have there. Not much in the drawer now. In this drawer, I have my actual plastic patterns. Here is my old mandolin pattern. Here is the Lloyd Loar pattern. So I've got those two patterns there. Not to mention my D28 Martin guitar pattern here. And in this drawer, I have some jigs and fixtures for glue ups and clamp ups and things like this is my fixture for getting the neck angle right on a mandolin. So different things like that I just have. And you can see here, this cabinet is mostly case supplies for building cases, the old, you know, like road cases and things. I don't do much of that anymore, but occasionally some of that stuff comes in handy. This is just miscellaneous stuff. I've got a lot of leather stuff in here, plastic and rubber things in here. Chainsaw stuff is in both of these. Not that I use that much for the instruments. This is just mostly junk, mostly just cables and computer cables and TV cables and things like that. This is where we've got all of the parts that you sent me now. This cabinet, again, is mostly just farm junk. I mean, like there's screws and bolts and, you know, all kinds of things in there. And then these three drawers have instrument parts. This is mostly mother of pearl and abalone shell. This is plastic pieces that can be used for inlay over here. This is truss rods and necks and fretboards. And this is more inlay here that's pre-cut. Some just miscellaneous electronic type stuff over here. These are like body side points on the side of your neck where you would make these. These are just plastic pieces that you could cut dots out of to make the little side dots. So that's kind of a rundown of some of the stuff that's here. Up here in this cabinet, we do have ebony wood. There's a lot of ebony in here. Pretty much full, and like those are peg head overlays there in that plastic. We have clothespins for the putting on the kerfing. We have the violin clamps up here, and that's about it in terms of instruments. The rest of the stuff is just mostly for the farm. So hopefully, my friends, you can see that I have done a lot of work here on the organization. That helps a lot. You know, now that we have Caleb and Melissa here, we're, grown quite a bit, and so we just had to get more organized, and that's why I went ahead and spent the big bucks and bought a nice cabinet here to keep all this stuff straightened out. Poor old Caleb, he couldn't find what he's looking for, but now we can. Thank you for watching this part. I hope you got something out of this organization session. My friends, in terms of future projects, here's another little quick preview of an instrument I'm working on. This is a guitar I'm building, and of course I'm using my wonderful Paduk. These sides have really turned out wonderful. It's going to be a great guitar. I can't wait to get it going. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this guitar is going to go to someone in California. In fact, I think they're a private pilot, if I remember correctly, and they drove in here, or they flew in here, and they flew in to the Rolla area and then drove over and actually gave me the deposit in hand. So that was really cool of them. I'm sure he'll fly out here and pick this thing up whenever we're finished with it. It's a project that you'll see down the road. My friends, I have another visit from Trinian and Layton. We are going to discuss a topic this morning that I'm sure we have never discussed on this channel before, and we're going to get these guys' opinion on the weather rock. Now, you see this rock?
Yeah.
This rock can tell the weather.
How does it do that?
How does it do that, Trinian asked. Well, this rock is really smart. It's smarter than every other rock out there, believe it or not. You believe that, first of all?
Yes.
You do? You believe that? So they believe this rock is smarter than all the other rocks out there. Well, it looks kind of unique. It's kind of an egg-shaped rock, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to feel it to see if you can feel any difference?
Yeah. It feels smooth.
It feels smooth? Okay, so how does this tell the weather? Okay, well, see, what you do is you take this rock, tie a string around it, and you hang it from like a tree limb. Okay, so it's hanging outside out there, like you can pretend like it's hanging on a limb outside. Okay, so if you go outside and let's say, you see the rock is soaking wet.
Then that means it's raining.
That's right. See, the rock knew it was raining.
And then if it's sunny, it would be hot when you touch it.
Right, exactly. See, he's catching on already. He knows exactly how to predict the weather with this rock. And what would happen if the rock is moving like this?
It would be shaky.
Well, why would it be moving?
Because someone would be holding it?
No, it's windy outside.
Oh.
So if the rock is moving, it's windy. If the rock is hot, it's real sunny. If the rock is freezing cold, it's a winter day, right?
Yeah.
See, it predicts the weather. This is the smartest rock in the world.
And like the light's shining on it, and it's a little
What
cold.
does the sign say?
What does what say?
Like
The
right
sign.
there.
The sign?
Right there.
What sign?
On the rock.
I have something written on this rock. And most of you will wonder why I have something written on this rock. And it says WTF, and it's not what you think. It's Walnut Tree Field, meaning that we found this rock in the Walnut Tree Field. And we found it on November 8th, 2006. And you wonder, why did I keep this rock? Well, most likely this particular rock actually was used by the Native Americans back there
Almost all of the rock that we find back there was used by the Native Americans. They actually brought it in by hand because there's no rock in that particular field. And we have found hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of artifacts back there. And because this one was perfectly smooth, it's more or less a river rock, and it was brought up in the middle of a field, there's a good chance they brought it up there for a reason, maybe to grind something with or something like that. And maybe that's the reason it's so smooth too, who knows. But regardless whether they used it or not, how it got there, I don't know, but we did archive it. But now, these guys have learned it's a weather rock. All right, so tell me now then, what do you guys really think about the weather rock?
I think we should go outside and hang it up.
You think we should go outside and hang it up? What about you, Monkey?
I think we can set it on a tree.
You set it on a tree.
And then it will fall off.
So do you guys think this weather rock will really work then?
Yeah.
You do?
Because it's smooth.
Oh, okay.
Hey, can I feel it? It says you don't exist.
You don't what?
Exist.
Exist?
Yeah.
It does exist. It's right there. You can see it.
He thinks he's dreaming.
I think you're both dreaming. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching.